Hello and welcome to Art Life Video Blog, day 172. I'm here with Jacob, and my name is Nikolos Ayers.
Jacob Wolff, thank you, Nick, for having me. Well,
thank you
for meeting me here today. People, it's not often that people come to my house to meet to do an interview, so it's a treat to relax in my own home for a day.
Totally.
So thank you. I appreciate how willing you were to meet me here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is cool. It's a treat to come to your spot. What you got going on.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Portland, and I've been doing a lot of drawing and painting my whole life. And recently, in the last 5 years, started working on tree stump prints, and I've got a few of those here today. Heard about the 4th F and Friday show at Refuge PDX that my friend Mercedes Orozco is doing, and Jacob also interviewed and wanted to come share my artwork with you guys and be a part of that show. And so I've got some tree stump prints here that I make with ink and charcoal on paper from tree stumps that I collect from a local timber company that I work with, and that's what I've been working on recently.
Brad, so can you tell us what inspired you to start making prints of tree stumps?
Yeah, I first saw these tree stump prints that this guy Ryan Burns was doing. He went down to some clear cuts in Northern California and Southern Oregon and made huge rubbings of these old growth trees that were 500-600 years old.
Wow.
Like 10 feet wide, and would fill the whole room. You couldn't even fit them on the wall because they were so big, and they'd spill over on the floor. And just really was a cool image that resonated with how much I care about the environment and trying to get involved in combining art with activism and bringing that conversation to a gallery event. And so I started playing around with different techniques to make tree stump prints and going clear cuts and making rubbings, and got involved with Urban Timber Tree Service and started collecting a bunch of wood rounds to work on in the studio. And it all started with watching or seeing Ryan Burns' huge old growth tree stump prints.
Wow.
And working from that, over refining the process of making prints, figuring out different ways to use materials like beeswax and pigment, and making giant crayons to do 6-foot prints on. So
have you taken his process and made it your own, or have you figured out your own process through your own trial and errors?
Oh yeah, so the first print I made, I found some gravestone rubbing crayons at Art Media, which is now closed, and just used some paper and did the typical gravestone rubbing technique on a tree stump and made a print from that, and then realized I could work in different colors and make that wax and pigment mixture myself. So I melted down beeswax and resin and other kinds of waxes and experimented with pigment ratios and made these giant soup bowl sized crayons.
Wow.
I could stretch over a giant stump and work quicker from, and do custom color patterns. And so yeah, I saw that first print and then realized I could experiment with all different kinds of mediums on that. Use cloth, paper, pretty much anything that can take a rubbing on or absorb ink on from doing the opposite like a traditional woodblock print.
That's really interesting. So I want to take a step back. I want to ask you how you, because you said you've been doing art your whole life, but you've only been doing this for about the most recent 5 years. So how did you get interested in art? Like, who were some of your early inspirations?
I've just kind of always been artistic and interested in art since I was as young as I can remember. I'd always draw stuff and enjoy that as like a 2-year-old, and then started reading comics and tracing comics and doing a lot of graphic stuff and drawing superheroes and pretty much anything I was interested in at the time. And then kept studying art and painting and drawing as much as I could growing up. I guess the first classical artist I was really interested in is Van Gogh.
Yeah.
And people tell me I look like him a lot.
I can see that.
People like, they don't even know I make art.
I saw this painting once and you look similar.
Yeah, I mean, and Da Vinci, one of my mentors as a kid got me interested in Da Vinci, showed me a couple books of his stuff, and I've been studying him since then. So I've always been interested in art and design and construction, woodworking, inventing.
You said that you continued to study art. Was that like classes in school or higher education?
Yeah, I went to PCC and PSU for a while. I was in the art program there, but art was my favorite class in all grades of school.
And so PSU and PCC, what kind of art classes were you taking, interested in?
Mostly painting and drawing, life painting, a lot of that.
Do you have any examples of this sort of work of yours?
Oh, yeah, I do, actually. Here's a painting from a life painting class at PSU with the model Kate. It's been around in Portland for like 20 years with Mark Smith with PCC, one of the coolest art teachers I've ever known. Here's a one-block print of a Banksy image with the Mazel Tov bouquet. Yeah, I've always been into all aspects of art that I can get into experimenting with, whether it's painting or drawing or printmaking or sculpture. I love doing sculpture.
Were you always into like the environmentalism aspect?
Yeah, since I was pretty young, I've always been very passionate about conservation and understanding that the environment's health is extremely important for human survival. So yeah,
definitely. So you talked about your art being, your newer stuff being a way to meld the two together. What kind of a message are you trying to get across with the art that you're creating right now?
That's a great question. I really just want to, like, it's twofold. It's like an appreciation of the natural beauty that exists within the form of a tree, whether it's a side wood grain or a cross there's the darker side of just showing the death of a tree and how that relates to what humans are doing on the planet right now, like massively destroying at an exponential rate.
It's ironic that it's printed on paper too.
Right? It's totally fucking ironic. It's a reality of the world that we live in, and so it's just kind of like holding a mirror up to what we're doing to forests.
Did you show a couple of these?
Yeah, that one. There's a few more back here. So these are water-based ink on printmaking paper, and it's basically a print like a traditional woodblock print with hand-painted ink pattern on the tree stump.
And it's really funny, you know what your artwork kind of reminds me of is Dan Gill.
Dan Gill
does Nipples of Venus, and he paints on humans, like body parts, and does monotypes of body parts.
I've been wanting to do some body prints actually. That's cool. Dan Gill, wait, is he the guy from New York in the 70s or 80s that would like put himself on the wall?
I don't think so.
Or, okay.
But it's
That was Brian. So.
capturing natural beauty and adding your own touch of color, like your own expression into it as well. I think there's a lot of similarities.
I'll have to check that out.
Can you talk about your process? Like, are you going out to sites, like cut sites, and doing rubbings on site, or do you have wood?
Yeah, both. Yeah, it all depends on like what I'm feeling like doing for the day of making art. But I have a lot of stumps at my house or in my studio that I've collected from the tree work job that I sand down there and prepare with a wire brush and make the image come out more by making grooves and removing the softwood and really figuring out how it's going to work as a print, or just going out to a clear cut somewhere, like even off Skyline Road. There's a few clear cuts that I've just cruising around, and I'll just go out there with a sheet or some cloth and wrap it around the stump and make a print and cruise back.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
How
Every time
long?
I'm, like going hunting in the city or by the beach for a tree stump.
How long does it take you to prepare a stump to make like an ideal print?
It all depends. Like you could do so much. You could just take what's there, and like once I found a stump, I was out by the beach on a motorcycle going up fire lane roads and found a freshly cut tree across the road, or the trail. It's like 2 feet wide, and there was a crew that had cleared it like a week or two before. There was fresh sap on the end of this tree that was just sticking out, and I wrapped that and made the print, and the sap texture came through, and so it looked like the stump was bleeding, like you could totally see the sap on the print. And other times I'll prepare them for days on end, like sanding texture down and this and that, or drawing into it a little bit with carving tools. So,
Right on.
yeah.
Where have you shown this work?
A few places around town. I've got to show up at Vintage Cocktail Lounge on 79th and Star right now by the Academy Theater.
What kind of stuff are people going to see there?
There's a bunch of original prints in frames that I fire treated, set on fire and torched.
Wow.
A torch that pretty cool as a metaphor of the destruction of the forest. So yeah, some prints there, tree stump prints, ink on paper. And I had a show at PSU years ago when I was there. Had some shows at some other coffee shops, but no gallery shows as of yet besides PSU. So come and see.
How do people look at your work or get a hold of you to get a hold of your work?
You can find me at nikolosayers.com, NIKOLOSAYRES.com, or Nikolos Ayers on Facebook. And yeah, you can buy work straight from that.
Right on. So you have an online gallery.
Yeah.
Right on. That's fantastic. A lot of people, actually, like most people that I interview said, well, I have a website, but I'm working on it, or it's in process, or I don't have one.
Yeah, mine's under construction too at the moment, but
Yeah.
it'll be there.
So now I just gave you a hard time. So not that it's a bad thing, but it's definitely a process to get like all of the steps, and
Yeah.
being an artist is a very encompassing process.
Yeah. Prefer to spend time working with the art instead of
Definitely.
uploading photos.
Self-promotion is difficult for anybody, and especially artists who are generally like self-conscious and like loners and reclusive.
I don't like doing video interviews. From you guys.
Well, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Where do you want to see your art go? Like, do you have any aspirations? Do you want to see yourself doing like really big prints, like how you were inspired by?
So I hadn't mentioned to you, but a couple years ago, I took a trip down to the Sequoia National Park, like 5 hours north of Santa Barbara, where the biggest trees in the world are.
Wow.
And I got this huge 20-foot by 30-foot sheet of fabric and made these giant soup bowl crayons to make a print of the Mark Twain tree stump, which is the biggest stump in the world.
Wow.
It was the biggest tree that was ever cut down. The stump is still intact. The Chicago stump that was taken to the Wolff Fair in like 37 or something like that is a couple feet smaller. And, it's 23 feet wide, I think.
Wow.
And I had gone down there to make a print, and I wanted to contact like the Museum of Natural History, because they have a section of that tree stump in the museum on display still in New York. And I just thought it would be really cool to make a print of the biggest tree stump in the world and put it in a museum or some other place where it would be in public sight. And, so that's one thing I want to do. I also want to go down there and make some bark prints from the sequoias by wrapping a sheet around the tree and climbing up into the tree to do it with some buddies of mine that do the tree service in Portland, that climb trees and like shoot a crossbow over it with a weight and hook up a rope on a harness. And, so yeah, a lot of ideas for bigger projects and filling big spaces. So I think seeing that like just immense on a wall that could really kind of affect someone in a way where they realize how amazing old forests are
Yeah.
and how important they are, and hopefully that kind of thing can start a conversation around sustainable forestry and other environmental issues.
What's the biggest tree that you have been print of?
The biggest one's about 6 feet wide. So, still haven't been down those cliff cuts yet.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess I do have a 9-foot stump, but it included the roots on a sail for a land yacht that I found off 20th and Belmont. So, yeah, 9 feet.
Have you done any deliberate, like, I want to say, like, pictures into the wood to get a different element in it?
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm phrasing
glad you
it.
asked that because I've been toying with that idea for a while, and I've done some mark making, but not an actual wood cut within the image of the tree stump to combine it, and that's the new direction that I'm going in. So, yeah, that's in the works.
Right on.
Yeah,
What kind of-
wood burning and
What kind of imagery do you want to put into it, or do you know yet?
I've got a bunch of different ideas, but metaphorical things to get people to make the connection or between various issues. Like, you can play around with the metaphor of nature and man and destruction for eternity.
Yeah, there's an infinite amount.
Yeah, so I don't know. Probably stuff that is related to like what I like doing, which is just classical figurative work and graphic images that are skillfully rendered or stylistically rendered. And my painting stuff is very expressionistic, so combining that through woodblock cutting and printing is where it's going to go next, I think. And combining the painting of inks and multiple layers that bleed through when you print it with a wet piece of paper. So, yeah, making paintings on the prints, I suppose.
Rad. I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about is the gallery that you mentioned, 4th F and Friday.
Yeah.
I didn't grab the posters and flyers like I said I was going to.
Oh.
So it's this coming Friday. We've got like 5 days. We're going to be prepping Wednesday and Thursday for 4 hours each day and 2 hours of prep Friday morning. And then it opens up at 1 p.m. on Friday, goes till 1 a.m. 12-hour event.
It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be
It's
awesome.
so much fun.
There's going to be like
There's a few bands.
60
right?
artists, like 10 musical acts.
10 musical acts, holy shit.
Yeah.
Alright.
So I think the first group starts at 1:30, and it's an hour of music, a half hour off, an hour of music, a half hour off, like all day.
Awesome.
And then in the half hour off, there's time for like breakdown, setup, make announcements. I can mention the raffle. So until 9 o'clock, anybody that comes into the gallery, it's free entry, but there is a suggested $5 to $10 donation. Every $5 that a guest donates, they get a raffle ticket. All of the artists involved have the option of donating artwork into the raffle. Most of what I do is but artists can donate artwork into the raffle. Then the guests can donate and get raffle tickets and win artwork for
Sweet.
$5
Yeah, for
raffle ticket.
original pieces. And
Yeah.
nice prints. That's gonna be cool.
I'm getting a little bit of a stack of artwork already. I'm hoping that I get a lot more artwork.
Yeah,
But-
oh shit, man. How
Um,
about this one?
please,
This one will be there.
rad.
This one will be in the raffle.
So this is one of the pieces of art that you'll be able to win this coming Friday.
The 4th effing Friday.
There's gonna be people making art all day. There's gonna be places where guests can come in and paint on stuff.
Oh, cool. There's gonna be live painting.
Live painting.
Interactive
Nipples of Venus,
live
Dan Gill will be there making nipple prints
Okay.
of his model, and I think if like the public wants to get body prints from him, they can do that. There's gonna
Cool.
be people body painting and face painting, and
Sounds really fun.
it's gonna be nuts, dude. I'm very excited. There's a lot of preparation that has gone into this, and it's all
Yeah.
going to be worth it. This
That's
Friday.
right, man. I'm super excited.
I can't wait for you to be a part of the show.
Yeah, thank you so
I'm
much
excited.
for having me.
Yeah. Again, this guy came out of his way to meet me because I had somebody bail on me earlier. That didn't work out, and then I didn't have time to go across town to meet him. He came out here to my place, brought art to show and do the interview here, and it's like 11 o'clock now. And yeah, just having a good time. But do you have any last comments, questions, concerns?
Oh man, no concerns. Jacob's dog is really cool.
She's
She's a
So
sweetheart. She's tired now.
Jinx. Yeah, my dog is pretty great. She's spoiled. She got the treatment today. She hates me for it, but
She's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for watching, guys. If you're watching still.
Nick, thank you so much for coming
Thank
over
you.
here. It's been a
Awesome
pleasure.
to meet you, man.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is the Art Life video blog, day 172. Jacob Wolff,
Nikolos Ayers.
Nikolos Ayers. All right, catch y'all later.